Hi, this is Ron Gannett, the pastor at Community Church here in beautiful Saddlebrook, Arizona. And one of the blessings of living in Arizona is you get some very special guests who come to visit with you. And I would like to introduce Indiana Scarlett Gannett. We call her Indy. Indy is my granddaughter, and she lives all the way back in Birmingham, Alabama, and she flew out here all by herself to see us. Indy, did you make this?
Yes, sir.
Wow, you made that for Grandpa. Where did you make that?
At the pottery store.
Oh, wow. You're always you're a real artist. You go to school. What grade are you in?
First grade.
First grade. And what are some of your favorite things that you do at school?
Play outside.
You're just like your grandpa. And you also like art class, don't you? I'm able to buy some of your artwork on the internet from your school. You do a great job. And what things do you do outside of school? What kind of activities do you like?
At school?
Outside of school.
I like to play on the playground.
The playground, and you like to do gymnastics, don't you? And what's your favorite activity at gymnastics?
Hanging on the bars.
Hanging on the bars. You're a lot like Grandpa. I'm sort of like swing from bars a little bit, huh? You know, what about your mommy? What's your mommy's name?
Kristen.
And where does she work?
River Chase Community Church.
River Chase Community Church. That's funny. Our church has the same name. It's called Community Church at Saddlebrook. What does your mom do there?
She's a teacher.
Oh, she's on the staff and she works with children. Well, that's great. Well, I am so glad you've come to Arizona to see us. I want you to look in the camera and say a special message just for your mom. What would you say?
I love you.
Oh, I know she does. Well, thank you for visiting with us today.
Okay, Indy, we better run and have some fun, okay? Say goodbye to Grandpa.
Bye-bye. Love you. Love you. Aren't children a delight? You know, every time I have one of my children or grandchildren come to visit, I'm reminded that, I have a wonderful opportunity to pass on my faith, a legacy of God's grace to them. I ask myself, how can I do that? Back in the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy, when Moses is getting ready to lead the children of Israel and go to heaven, he tells them what to do when they go into the promised land. He says, here's what you need to remember. Number one is I want you to go out there and love God so well and teach them the ways of God that not only will your children know the truth, but your children's children and generation after generation will follow God because of the things that you have taught them. And we are in a wonderful situation as parents because we've been through life, we've gone to church, we've studied the Bible, we've matured, and now God has given to us knowledge and skills and resources that we can pass on to the next generation. Moses turned to the children of Israel and says, here's what you need to do. Number one, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. They need to see beating in the heart of our being a vibrant faith and love and devotion for the God of heaven. Do they see that I love God and am I an example of God's grace to them? And secondly, he says, then you need to get out there and model it in the things you say, the things you do, inside your house, outside your house. In all avenues of life, let your children know that God makes a difference in your life and can make a difference in theirs as well. It's sad to say, but today we live in a world where culture is putting a lot of pressure on our children and grandchildren. And yet, in the midst of all that pressure, they are looking for examples that really count. And I am convinced that we can be that example to them, that they want to be our audience, that we can stand tall and truly make a difference in them. At Community and Church here in Saddlebrook, we have invented a new term. We are calling it GrandMentoring. That means that you can become a GrandMentor. We are asking ourselves, what are ways that we as grandparents can impact the generations that come behind us? Now, not all of us have all the knowledge and wisdom that we need, so therefore we need to create a dialogue where we can share those ideas. So what I want you to do is to start thinking of ways that we as grandparents can impact the generations behind us in regard to helping them walk with God. Now, you're going to be watching the website, and pretty soon you're going to be a site there, a section called Grand Mentoring. And you'll have an opportunity to go there and to learn some ideas on what you can do, but also you're going to go to that spot and you'll have the opportunity to share some ideas. Maybe as I am talking, you're thinking, here's some ideas that come to my mind. Well, if that's the case, then go to the bulletin. On the very bottom of the bulletin, you'll see some emails and some mailing addresses for me and for the church. Send us your ideas. We would like to hear from you. How can we be grand mentors to the next generation? You know, I was blessed in a home of a mom and dad who loved God and tried to impact their following generations with everything that they had. In fact, I remember at my mother's funeral, one of the grandchildren showed up who had a life of problems and who had made some bad choices. But yet, you know, at the funeral, he said, my grandma is the one person in this world who never gave up on me, who always cared for me. You know, I was blessed with a mother and father who had a spiritual passion to pass on their values, their faith, to their children and grandchildren. This is a great picture I took of my dad reading his Bible one morning in his home. He didn't know I was there with the camera, and I snapped this little shot. When I showed it to my siblings and to their families, everyone wanted a copy. And today, every one of the children and grandchildren have a picture of my dad reading his Bible in their home. My friends, some legacies never end. And I'm convinced that your legacy will never end if you do it God's way. So together, let's help each other. Let's dialogue. Let's talk. Let's think of ways that we can grand mentor those we love.